Welcome friends to Student of the Path. Trying something a little different. I did get a donation of a webcam a while back, and I haven't really done much with it, and I wanted to try something. I'm using this program here, what's it called, OBS Studios, so I'm fiddling with some things, and let's see what we can do here. So in this video, what I wanted to do was to lead you guys. This video is going to be for somebody who is getting into the suttas, getting into the ancient discourses of the Buddha. And, there's thousands and thousands of pages. Where do I go? What do I do? How do I get started? Well, I'm going to give you a little tour through two websites. The first of which was invaluable to me in my early days, and the second of which is invaluable to me today. Both of them are still invaluable, but the second one allows me to do a lot of my research with Pali much easier and all these kind of things. So let's go to, we are right here, accesstoinsight.org. This was my access to the suttas for many, many years. Before I bought the Nikayas, before I bought any, direct sutta books, I had access to Insight. This is a wonderful, wonderful website, and made by a team, and it's headed up by Tanasaru Bhikkhu over in California. So I'm going to go through and just kind of do a casual thing here. One of the things that I highly suggest right here, we're at accesstoinsight.org. Right here, befriending the suttas. This is going to be an important beginning. This is a wonderful introduction here. It's going to say, why should I read the suttas? All of these things. Which sutta should I read? And it gives you links directly to various suttas. And it even tells you how you should read a sutta. I remember reading this years ago. I highly recommend going through this link. And I guess I should have said that I'll put these links in the description of the YouTube video. Now, right here, we'll go. This little icon up top is going to help you guide yourself through this website. And there's one thing in the suttas, it's hard in the beginning to kind of read through the suttas. They're very repetitive. There's a lot you're not going to understand. A lot of it's going to seem over your head. A lot of it's still over my head after many years now of reading the suttas. There's this one feature right here that's extremely important. It was for me. See, it's called Random Sutta. You click on that, and it literally just brings you a random sutta. Oh my God, Anattalakkana Sutta. Now, if this sutta came up probably 7 or 8 years ago, I don't know what the heck I would have done. I'm still exploring it myself. So maybe, this is a big sutta. It's about not self. Let's try to find something a little easier here. Random sutta. Okay, the mass of fire. Slightly less complicated. So so right here, this random suttas, much important. Okay, so you can say here also self-guided tour of the Buddhist teachings. Now, the Tipitaka, or Tipitaka, however you want to say it. Actually, Pali words, it would be Tipitaka. Although I'm not used to saying it because I haven't, said it all these years I've been saying it. I didn't say it right because I didn't know Pali like I do now. So the Tipitaka, what is this? This is the baskets, the triple baskets. These are the suttas, the Vinaya, which is the discipline of the monastics, and the Abhidhamma, which is the expounding and exploration of deeper topics and contexts. But For right here, what we want to worry about is the Nikayas, specifically the 4 Nikayas, and there's a little bit of the 5th as well. This is a great thing here. You can search by sutta, you can search by subject, proper name, simile, etc. But there's 4 main Nikayas that are the core of the Buddhist teachings. You're going to find these in Theravada as the Nikayas. You're going to find them in, or the Pali Nikayas. You're going to find them in Mahayana as the Agamas. But these 4 bodies of work are the oldest and really the most consistent of Buddhist scriptures you're going to find. So the first one, to get used to these little acronyms here, DN, that's the Digha Nikaya. That is the long discourses of the Buddha. You click on it, it'll go through. MN, Majjhima Nikaya. Majjhima Nikaya is is pretty much the most well-known. Some people call it the Buddhist Bible. It's the middle-length discourses. And on this site, Access to Insight, you can scroll through. Almost all of the suttas have the direct link. You can check out the Pali if you want. It tells you the translator. Some of the suttas have multiple translators. And then it gives you a little summary. And this goes through all 152. Here we go. Saved by the numbers. So, now here's Samyutta Nikaya. And Samyutta Nikaya is the connected discourses, or it says here the group discourses. This is many, many thousands of smaller suttas. And each one of these, obviously, you can see it'll tell you about the different suttas. And finally, the Anguttara Nikaya, which is this says further factor discourses, or the numbered discourses, numerical discourses, I think Bhikkhu Bodhi translates it. And so this is very much like the Samyutta Nikaya, thousands of smaller suttas, but grouped by number. So anything that has to do with the 5 aggregates and the 5 khandas and the 5 this and the 5 that will be in the Book of Fives. And it goes from Book 1 to Book 11. So, and there is a 5th Nikaya. There's parts of this that are considered some of the oldest. We have the Dhammapada right there. So if you want to see the Dhammapada, you can go there. Udana and Itivuttaka right there. And then you also have the verses of the elder monks and the elder nuns, Therigatha. And Therigatha, there we go. So those are, I'm not too familiar with a lot of what these others are. I guess these are Jatakas right here, the stories, traditional stories of the Buddha's former lives. So let's go to a sutta here. Let's go to, see, this doesn't have a double click, but we'll go to one of my favorite suttas, Fear and Terror. So this has right here, this has the MN4, that means Majjhima Nikaya. This is the 4th sutta in the Majjhima Nikaya. Now if you clicked over here, PTS, you can see it goes to the Pali. There we go, it took a little bit to go directly. As you can see, this is the Pali right here. And let's go back. And so you just read through. As you can see, these are ellipses right here. This is when there would be repetition, but it was cut out for the sake of brevity. And usually, if it's going through a set of factors, they'll do the whole first paragraph, and then as they go through the other factors, they'll ellipse it. Okay, I think that might be all I wanted to say about here. Okay, oh, and also there's lots of study guides and little things like that. I mean, you could, the search here is great. So if you want to know, maybe, how about right view, right? My slow internet's taking quite a while. Wow, it's taking a long while. Here we go. And so this is going to have everything that's related to right view. And these little sections here are really cool under the Four Noble Truths. And Thanissaro Bhikkhu kind of puts together a bunch of different sutta selections related to the topic here. There's lots of stuff to find and to explore on access to insight. Okay, now we're going to go over to suttacentral.net. Very similar in many ways to access to insight, although it is newer, and they're doing a lot of work in terms of translations. So you can go under the suttas here. Or not. Well, anyway, you can actually, let me do this here first. You can scroll down and it says Introduction to Sutta Central. And you can read down and it goes through all kinds of stuff helping you out. So this is a good introduction. But you should be able to, there we go. So the interesting thing about here, Sutta Central, is they have not only the Pali, but they also have the Chinese, Sanskrit, and all these other different languages and written setups here. Now this doesn't mean that they have every single sutta and all of these on here. It's just what they have translated. So here you see the Digha Nikaya, Majjhima Nikaya, Samyutta, Anguttara, and the Khuddaka that we saw from the other one. Now you can even here look at the monastic vinaya, the bhikkhu, which is the male monastics, and the bhikkhuni, which is the female monastics. If you want to check out our rules and all that kind of stuff, you can go through and read one of the rules. The training rule on building huts. Yes, we have to make sure that we build huts in the right way, in the right dimensions. So what else is there here at Sutta Central? And Abhidhamma, something I'm not too familiar with, but if you're interested in Abhidhamma, it's there as well. The cool thing about this here is that you have this little side scroll, and now this says, metadata tells you who translated it, which can be important. Navigation. This tells you if there's any parallels in the different other, there's, so like how I was saying, there's the Nikayas and the Agamas, and a lot of times you'll find the same sutta in both ones, just one's in Sanskrit and one's in Pali. So let's go here, even languages, whatever languages the current one is translated in. And one of the coolest things I like here, we're just going to go to the Pali, is that you can go over controls. You can do a Pali English dictionary. It's requesting. This is what happens when you live in the mountains. The internet takes a little while. But it's okay. There we go. Now enabled. And so if you're going, look at all these words, what does this mean? Well, you just have to scroll over and it'll tell you. sanya, sense perception, etc. So, Sutta Central is great in this regard, and you can find a lot of different things on this website. Some very similar to Access to Insight, and some different. But I highly suggest these two websites, accesstoinsight.org and suttacentral.net, for your exploration of the suttas. So I guess that is that. So thank you very much for listening, and I hope that your journey into the beginning of looking into the teachings of the Buddha is fruitful, and that you will enjoy it as well. There's a lot of very profound, insightful, funny, and good things here in the suttas. And it's one of those things where perhaps you would rather dip a toe in the water first, slowly, gingerly, rather than just trying to dive in, getting lost, and not knowing what you're doing. So these two websites I wanted to go over with for you guys a little bit. And until next time, friends, Sukhi Hotu, may you be happy and may your practice flourish.